Oh, look, it must be Tuesday. Well, this is Trekland HQ, and we are live. The two sides of Star Trek Day 2023. Yes, it's episode 222 of Trekland Tuesdays Live with me, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemechek, coming at you right here from the heart of Trekland. It's a funky day right here from the heart of Trekland for some clarity, some sanity, and the big picture in all things Star Trek. Wow. Hello, everybody. It's another Tuesday here in Trekland Live. Hey, glad you can make it. As people filter in, just going to say that if you are joining us from Facebook, you're only going to see the Facebook comments. If you're getting here from YouTube and Twitch, you're going to see everything. All righty. And if you're watching us later on YouTube, you should try to make it live at this time, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK, 10 p.m. Central Europe. I know the Aussies can see us too, and folks in East Asia. So we're global. And I'm glad to be here with you because this week, well, the thing that the 500-pound gorilla that's kind of staring us in the face, yeah, it is Star Trek Day. I'm so glad to see everybody again. And if you are here, if you're new to Trekland Tuesdays Live, please introduce yourself in the chat. We have a great community. They're the TTLers, and they will be all over it. I'm just going to say today that, as usual, I'm going to do a topic here, a little soapbox for a while, and then take a tiny short break, and then we'll get to the chat. So I won't be ignoring you. I'll just be holding off, okay? And best of all, since we are monetized on YouTube now, we do have the capacity for super chats and super chat donations. And I haven't been talking about that. So really, the way that's supposed to work is I make a priority of the super chat folks. So that's out there. Another good reason to be here on YouTube. But this week, it really struck me. There's the excitement of Star Trek Day, and it's gotten to a point now since Paramount Plus, since Paramount Global with CBS in tow has resurged Star Trek Day. Well, they really recreated it at the beginning of Discovery as a promotional vehicle. We just used to say, "Hey, happy Star Trek Anniversary Day." Star Trek Day wasn't a thing until I heard it being used that fall of 2017, really. But it's grown. We had the pandemic. It went virtual, viral. No live event this year. Maybe that's a thing now with expenses, and maybe it's a thing probably more so with the current strikes. More on that in a second. But no, there's some virtual, viral fun coming up on Thursday, and just to recap all of this, on Friday the 8th. And hello once again, everybody. I will get to the chat in just a second. But on Friday the 8th, and using folks, especially Jerry O'Connell, who is hosting a special, which I'm sure was all filmed before the actors' strike started in June. But there's a day-long celebration. For one thing, it's viral, so it's going to be streaming. There aren't really times tied to this. So it's going to be another retrospective. Of course, Star Trek Day is the anniversary of the first day that's The Man Trap, the original series, aired in 1966, Thursday, September 8th. Although I know that it was shown 2 days earlier on some CBC channels in Canada. Yes, we know that. So you can watch Star Trek Day, the special that Jerry is hosting, on StarTrek.com's website, on YouTube, on the Paramount Plus and the Star Trek official channels, and on the Twitch and on the Facebook. So pretty much where you're seeing me here is where you can get it. You can also see it to stream in the US. Now those are supposed to be global, by the way. All those online sites, StarTrek.com, the YouTube, the Twitch, the Facebook, those are all supposed to be global. Then streaming in the US, it'll be on Paramount Plus. It'll be on Pluto TV, Paramount Plus Pix, Star Trek, more Star Trek, and the Pluto, all those arenas, and on Mixable, which up until this moment I'd never heard of. It's also going to be on certain local CBS affiliates, which is interesting, and Comedy Central and Paramount Network and Pop TV and Fave TV and Smithsonian.com. And on top of that, there are going to be the first 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds, way back with Strange New Worlds and Children of the Comet, are both 101 and 102 are going to be seen at 8 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific on CBS, regular old school Blue Bloods CBS. CBS, the home of Lucille Ball and George Burns. So that'll be something. And then what's been added to today, the news that came out of Comic-Con San Diego, Star Trek the Animated. This is not only what are we up to? The 57th anniversary of The Man Trap, the premiere on live TV. This is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek the Animated Series. And it's the 4th anniversary, just about, of my friend Aaron Harvey's co-written book with Rick Shepis, the Animated Series Guidebook, the official one. But there's a 50 years of Star Trek animation special. And as you know, just in the last 5 years, the history of Star Trek animation has kind of quintupled. And not just because of Prodigy and Lower Decks, but also remember the short treks that were animated too. So there's a special that's coming. There's also, this is the the screenings that are going to be in theaters. Okay, number 1, those series, and people have been complaining about there's not enough cities. The whole West Coast is Vancouver, Canada, and San Diego, which is crazy. There's no New York screening. There's no Chicago screening. Mike McMahon's been online Twitter saying that he got the Vancouver one, so all the titmouse introverts can finally go see their work. But Mike also was tweeting, at least yesterday, that there were still seats available at some of these venues: Columbus, Dallas, Denver, Philly, Phoenix, San Diego, St. Louis, Washington, D.C., Vancouver, Calgary, and London. So there you go. That's happening. Now, what's been exciting today, whether you're going to those or not, where was this? Yeah. Oh, here we go. The launch of Star Trek Very Short Treks, which some of this was teased with seeing, like Riker and Saru, Neelix in animated form. But what's going to happen is, starting this week, using the voice talents of, Jonathan is Riker, Doug is Saru, Armin is Quark, okay? Plus, Ethan is Spock, Gates is Crusher, Celia as Uhura, Connor as Trip, Bruce Horak as Hemmer, Noel Wells as Tendi, and George Takei as Sulu. And Jerry Mathers as the Beaver. Oh, also, apparently, the ghosts of Jimmy Doohan and Majel Barrett will be all male and female guest stars. I'm kidding. This is pretty good. Star Trek The Animated Celebration. It's called... These little things, though, are called Star Trek The Very Short Treks. They're from Casper Kelly, comics genius. There'll be one a week for 5 weeks, starting this week on Friday. They're going to be the chapters of the comic book. There's a chapter from IDW a month called Star Trek The Animated Celebration presents The Shimer Barrier. Lou Shimer, Norm Prescott, Lou Shimer from Filmation. The Shimer Barrier. There'll be a chapter of the comic book debuting digitally on StarTrek.com. Physical copies are available at New York Comic Con in October. So boom, there's that. Of course, New York comics. But every chapter of the comic will be uploaded digitally, or dropped anyway, on Wednesdays on StarTrek.com. This is just news that broke today at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. So every Wednesday after this Star Trek Day, there'll be a new chapter. Not sure what's up with what, but it looks like a lot of fun. Skin a Cat, Holiday Party, Worst Contact, Holograms All the Way Down, and Walk Don't Run are the 5 titles. And this is all at StarTrek.com today, just announced this morning. So a different kind of, you know what? And this is all, cool that they've gotten that lineup of voice cast to do animated voices, animated narration. We'll have to see. But this is quite a cool lineup of cooperative souls who did this. And obviously, this Star Trek Day is being held, and as we said, this is a cool lineup of specials that are being released, these events. Oh, there's also a discount in the Star Trek store. If you use Star Trek Day, you can get 25% off everything at StarTrek.com. Okay, there's my promotional commercial for that. But we've got the animated celebration, the live event in theaters, plus the very short treks coming starting Friday and then the next weeks on Wednesdays. And the special episode of the Jerry O'Connell special, right? Star Trek Day, the biggest party in the galaxy. That will be fun. A lot of fun. Hosting, and we'll see there's probably some things they haven't exactly said what that is. The thing is, all of this makes for a very different kind of Star Trek Day today, whether it's virtual or live at an event, which is not happening aside from the screenings, right? The lower deck screening. Showing 2 commercial screenings of Strange New Worlds could be savvy, but this is all under the shadow of and because of the current strikes. The SAG strike, which got started in the writers have been at it since May 1st. The actors SAG after 2 months later. Again, the directors settled thinking that the actors wouldn't go to a strike and that this all wouldn't build up, and it has. But the bottom line is nobody's filming. And as we saw with the big summer cons, and as we're still seeing the big Labor Day cons, the kerfluffle over actors who, especially actors who are more or less retired and using this for income, this carve-outs for what they're doing so as not to promote the franchise, even though they can still promote themselves and their relationship with fans. That gets problematical at times. But the very most you would think is that Lower Decks, which is now currently airing, and all of the Star Treks, it's hard to celebrate Star Trek Day without the actors and without the writers involved. By God, they finally started getting writers on stage, the showrunners even, and now not. And that's going to happen. And this is 2023. So kudos to Paramount Plus, who I will tell you is not the leading aggriever among the alliance of the producers and studios that are apparently dragging this strike out, and apparently do not all agree on ongoing strategy. You can read all the opinion pieces, and again, follow writers and thinkers. A lot of our Star Trek folks are out there opining, but you can just read the trades and see what's going on. Or you know what? Watch about the trades. Watch for the statements from the unions as well. There are those who would say the trades are aligned with the producers at first blush. So just to bear that in mind. No, this is a well-organized Star Trek Day, considering what they had to work with. Yay. And I know that all of these, voice acting is one of the carve-outs. Animation is one of the carve-outs, because most of the time, the mainstream SAG-AFTRA and the mainstream, especially the mainstream Writers Guild contracts don't apply to animation unless it's a really special, like network evening primetime show. Now, that's problematic, and that needs to change. Everybody, writers are writers. There's not subpar for animation, and that needs to change. Animation is not the world it was 30 and 40 and 50 years ago. For starters, it never should have been the first place, but it certainly isn't now. That's another topic, and that's a topic we broached before. But safe to say that all of this live action, well, I'm going to say Jerry O'Connell's work for the special was filmed on the eve of and before the actors actually went on strike. So there's that. That's some kind of a documentary carve out. But what's interesting about Star Trek Day is here, as we've seen in the last 2 or 3 weeks, what has happened? Well, you can still enjoy all this special programming. You can go to the events, the live screenings, if you're lucky enough to be near one. You could go to one of the lower deck screenings with the animation special involved. You can do all that. But you can also, if you are in Los Angeles Or now New York, you can go by for the United We Strike, United We Trek theme pickets. Yes, we had the Writers Guild's organized theme picket for Star Trek, among many other theme pickets, because they're fun and exciting. And the main thing is they just keep people's spirits up after days and days and days of trudging on the picket lines. The May one, which I attended and which I covered in front of Paramount Plus, there's a wonderful 20-minute video. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of what Scott and Kyle put together. It shocked me how cool it is. And it's a mix of reunions with the writers, with each other, much less me and them, meeting some of the newer ones, meeting realizing how many people have been working on the newer shows that have not yet had their time in the sun, really, barely the showrunners, and have had a chance to have their voices heard. Also, besides the personal end of it, just getting a lot of the strike issues out. And then we also managed to drop a couple of bits of news along the way, which I was too close to realize and filter out. And so kudos on Trek Movie to and Anthony over there to figure out that I was actually making a little bit of news there. But that was, you see the family picture. There's 200, 300 people in that. This is going to be even bigger. This one now, the actors are in it full bore. Lots of actors came by and some IATSE crew people came by in May. But now it's a serious thing. It's a done deal. It's not just a cooperative, collaborative, supportive individual strike. It's SAG-AFTRA is in it. They've organized this in tandem with WGA, but now this is their time to shine. So in fact, it grew out of an idea. John Billingsley told me he and Jonathan Del Arco were talking at Vegas about what could happen here. So Michelle Hurd is also involved. So she's on the board, local officer in LA, kind of been taking the lead on carving out, remembering that conventions are not just about studio gauntlets, studio junkets. They are about individual actors doing this on their own. So this is a SAG-AFTRA event. And then later on added one in New York at the Paramount building. So you do have from 9:30 to noon in the morning, Friday morning, picketing, guest picketing, SAG-AFTRA, WGA, IATSE and Teamster supporters who have all been officially supporting, not on strike, but officially. They don't have to be on strike. There's no shooting going on for the most part, but they are honoring their colleague strike, their union brothers and sisters strike. But most of all, in both sites, this is open to fans. It's been promoted for at least 10 days broadly. I know here in LA, lots of fans are going to be going. I know a lot of the fan groups are going. LA Away Team, the LA function of the Star Trek Family Group on Facebook. I know the Granddaddy Club here in LA, the USS Angeles is planning to have a show of force there too. So there's going to be a lot of fan turnout with some caveats. No uniforms. If you want to wear strike regalia, that's cool, but no uniforms, no obvious fanishness. Not to let things get up, because the last thing they want is to turn a picket. And some speakers, I'm sure, occasionally. It's not an event. It's not a rally. It's still a picket. But there were times when, it's full of individual conversations. And sure, there's probably fans coming into town for this. And probably fans showing up in LA and in New York too as well. But that's the bottom line. They're saying also no pets. Bring your own water. If you're actually here, try to ride share in, do Uber or Lyft in, because it's going to be a mob. You see that family picture from May. This could easily be 3 or 4 times bigger. I don't think we'll all fit there at the left side of the gate. And of course, the bottom line here is it's another picket. It's another day of picketing by both unions now. It's another spirit lifter. It's meant to show, we're Star Trek. And most of all, it's piggybacking on the feels for Star Trek Day. It's like, hey, look, guys, in 2023, here's another way we can celebrate Star Trek. The franchise, the founding, the creator, Gene Roddenberry, everybody who ever drew a paycheck for Star Trek And yeah, you have your favorites. You got the things you love to debate. You've even got the things that people, hopefully that you know, love to grumpus about. And there's the whole thing that's kept a chunk of the online world busy. I try to get rid of them, but even I mean, it's this thing that has given rise to all these careers and opportunities and friendships and working relationships and moments of memory. This thing that's done all of that, and just as much or more than any other franchise out there, can celebrate Star Trek Day in a slightly different way, because it won't happen often. Lord, I hope this doesn't happen often, because there's a town that's hurting. And as I said in my post, there's all the groups that are there. SAG-AFTRA has their foundation, community foundation. Writers Guild promotes the Entertainment Community Fund. We have our own, and that's and there's other groups that are just helping the not writers, not actors, all the rest of the industry that is hurting by not working. There are ways you can support. Go to my Instagram on this, go to my Facebook page, my Trekland Facebook on this. There's a lot of them. You can Google them yourselves. Then outside of that, there is my guest last week, Claire Willits, organized and now has a whole team, volunteers, loosely based wherever they live, including the ones in LA who can put feet on the ground, boots on the ground. The Star Trek Snack Squad. There is the green, I'm going to get it wrong, the Green Envelope Grocers Food Fund to get food to striking and affected. There's all kinds of ways you can help. If you were stuck at home and don't think you can be part of this, you can. There's several ways to help. I've got several of them listed at my place, at my spots. We can run some URLs here, but I just want to say, that's it. That's out there. That's happening. If you're local or you're flying in or getting yourself into LA or New York now, which was organized later. It was organized later because originally Friday is a day of SAG elections, SAG-AFTRA elections in New York, and they didn't want to organize something on a day when they want to be focused there, the union. But some of the New York-based Trek WGA writers stepped up. They may not even be Trek organized. I've just heard this. John Billingsley shared this with me. They stepped up and said, no, we need to have something here equivalent to what they're doing in LA. Just, it's smaller by necessity. I mean, most people live in LA. Forget Toronto. Most of the writers and actors are still LA based. A chunk of them are LA based. The regular cast, I mean. So they said, no, we should have something in New York. So there is something at the Paramount building there in New York. And if you're checking your Instagram post, you can see the New York address of the Paramount building there if you need it. So I don't know how many of you today in our chat are going to be at either place, or maybe you'll be hopefully watching some. I'll try to live stream a little, but I really want to primarily do what I did last time, which was take video, good video, and some small conversations and weave it together now. Have a high bar after. And this may be with so many more folks and so many more fans. We're very few fans. That was partly by design. They were worried about the restricted area. I mean, it's not a big chunk of I mean, you've got the whole block from Gower down to, what is it, Lemon Grove, whatever, along. It's not just at the gate. And you can go around the block if you want. You can go all the way around and past Hollywood Cemetery and walk the entire quarter mile, whatever it is. But no, it's more than a quarter mile. I think city blocks. But whatever you're doing, or whether you're at home trying to keep up with all of it from home, you can take part from home too. It'll be interesting. The live crowds are going to be just huge. I'm hoping everything stays organized. It stays an active picket. It was hard to picket with the 300 people and stay on you couldn't help but have conversations happening. That's part of what makes the day special. But it does need to remain an active picket. And if you're a fan headed there, you just need to remember that it's not going to be one long selfie squad. There'll be conversations happening and people and you know what? There will be people picketing. Hopefully, if they picket at Paramount every day because it's close to home, they may hopefully they'll got the word that we're going to be invaded again by the Star Trek people. Now, the people working the tent last time told me, and you see in the video, they were like, oh yeah, this is cool. None of them had a Star Trek tie, although they got in the spirit of it. So that's happening. It's going to be, I'm just saying, a really different kind of Star Trek Day this year. Lots to celebrate, lots of specials, there's lots of surprises, and yet it's going to be a very 2023 Star Trek Day this year, one like no other. In fact, well, what am I going to say here? Even in 08, 07 and 08, the strike wasn't happening in September. So it was mainly a late fall, early spring event then. So this wasn't an issue. There was that Star Trek Day picket that the last thing in December, the last thing that we did at the old original StarTrek.com when it was a more of a news site than marketing. And everything was home written. And lots of video. Yeah. This didn't apply. You're going to see a little bit of history Friday again. The bottom line, let's just get this damn strike over. And if you're following along on that front, and we're not going to get into that today, but the focus has really shifted back to producers and the apparent divisions, even the divisions between, as we've said sometimes, between the old school studios and the new kids on the block, the tech streamers, versus the old brick and mortar, like Paramount and Warner's and Universal, when they're not overtaken by the Wall Street pension for quarterly profits, or they're not coming out of Silicon Valley like Netflix and Hulu and Prime. Just saying. So, do you have special plans? What are you up to? We'll see now. We're going to keep the chat control. We're going to go. I'm going to try to make super chats a priority. So I appreciate that when you can. We are running for just a total hour today. So we have a half hour for chat. I'm going to try to back scroll real fast, but oh, good. I'm just looking here right now. Boom. Thank you, Dave, for posting the green envelope grocery aid right there. Yay B. Okay. I'm going to see what's going on. Everybody held off. Hey, Carl. Glad you could be here today. It's good to see everybody, by the way. I'm especially, as always, going to look for new folks or folks I haven't seen in a while. It's good to see all of our regulars here. Carl, I was glad you could catch it today, too. Has been busy. I'm sorry I'm going to miss you of all the years, this is the year they finally have some Star Trek guests again in number, but I'm going to miss Salt Lake this year. Again, different reason than last year. Hopefully we'll be back next year again and I can restart my string. Sean, on the holiest of Harriman's Trek days, Eve. Yes. What film are you asking everybody? You asking me? Everybody should know. It's the film that got Will hired to be Wesley. I have not heard those, Sean, but Amazon's one of the 2 or 3 main. It's Amazon or Hulu or Prime are kind of the main, places to go. It's not exactly a big choice. It's like the old days with the 3 networks. If you're promoting this for me, Christoph, thank you very much. Glad the GSA's finally caught up, Christoph. Yay, I saw that. Let's see. Well, Jeffrey Combs was on the list, eventual shortish list of 6 or 8 people. So yeah, you can see him on some of those casting memos. Did you know Andy Robinson was on the short list for Decker in the motion picture? Very short treks could be considered its own series. Well, at least we know it would be VST. It would be VST. We've got that one all figured out. Oh, everybody, I'm going to do a very quick. I went right into this. I needed to say, folks, we jumped right into the chat. I'm going to jump right into the chat. But first, I want to thank all of our Patreons. Yay! Our TTL Club. That's Diana Hopkins, Robin Wilson, Lawrence Todd, Anne-Marie Siegel, Justin Porteous, Galinda Bruton, Chris Jiggins, Pranakasha Productions, Comedy Forecast, and Andrew Jazimski, and our TTL Live Wires, Robert McLean, Byron Bailey, Halbeard Gunn Johnson, J.R. Poole, Alan Hohensi, Dave Gregory, Tobias Rex, Donna S. Runyon, and Casey Shafsky. Thanks so much, everybody. If you want to jump in on the Patreon, it's a new month. You can jump in. It's $5 and $10. Very simple. The $10 folks a month get access to our the first 2 or 3 years of backstage creatives and interviews from the Portal 47 archive. So it's patreon.com/Trekland Live. Real simple. Real simple. Always appreciate that. I kept it real simple out of the gate, the way things are now. Also, it's time. Hey, it's cooling off. Maybe you want a fall trip to LA. Maybe you want a winter before the rains come. Yeah, stay out of January, February if you can. But anytime you're in LA is a good time for Trekland Treks, your own away mission. Check it out. If that appeals to you, if you want to customize your own landing party, cosplay where you like, I can help you out. I'll take you there. I'll wrangle for you. We'll do all the things. It'll be a day you'll never forget. And it's just one day. All right. The big tour is coming next July with Terrace, but this is simple. This is one day, if that's more your preference, or even your pocketbook. Hey, guys, we're on hiatus from the Trek Files right now. So it's a great time to go back and check out the last 10 years, the last 10 seasons anyway. 5 years, 10 seasons. Aaron Walke was our finale season 10 guest, but so many great people, some folks that we have lost over the years, like Dorothy Fontana, Richard Arnold, but mostly all good, timeless, evergreen conversations that are going on. And of course, if you're watching live or later, you can get me at LarryNemechuk.com on Twitter, Larry's Trekland. Here on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Share it all, ring the bell, do the things. Also Instagram, and still Facebook, and portal47.net. If you are suffering the post-con blues this weekend after Dragon Con and after Galaxy Con Austin, and where else did I see cons happening this weekend? Yes. Post-con blues are alleviated by jumping into the portal and having a mini-con all year long. All month long, all year long. And I appreciate everybody that was in there. And then just to check what's going on with the latest parrots that we have, Parrot Analytics, skimming. There we go. Not scamming. They've been around. Everybody's contracting with them, including TV geeks who are using them exclusively for the latest numbers. This is skimming the internet, adding in some other variables to see what the relative popularity of shows is. So Strange New Worlds has been off for a couple of weeks, hot, right? They're sitting at number 46 at 44.6, which is still an exceptional range, which is still in the upper 2.5%, the way Parrot measures it. Of all American U.S. ratings TV, Parrot measures all over the globe, country by country. But in the U.S., there's peaks and valleys, but it's staying in the 40s. The trend is up, but Strange New Worlds is done. It's in its shallow time. Now, Lower Decks is premiering Thursday on Star Trek Day Eve. We've got that out there. They're going to have 2 episodes to start with. 2 episodes to start with. They're way down. The animateds never do as well as the live actions. They're way down, but they're still in the exceptional and then the outstanding category. They're still in the outstanding. They're at, which is middling. Their trend is up 11%. So their ranking is like 360, which is sad, but they're in the US, but they're popping up. They're coming up. Their peak demand, now wait a minute, is saying 19.5 and 21.2 peak demand times the average. Well, that's the big clump. Anyway, we'll see what happens once Lower Decks is on. Can this break out? Can some of this attention and promo from Star Trek Day give a boost as the old show enters its 4th season? That's kind of amazing. Okay, we're there's your Parrot Analytics look. I'm keeping it brief because I want to get back to questions, and I know where I got to. And we'll just cut those early questions out. For the edited version, I mean. The edited short version for YouTube. And see what everybody's up to. Remember, as we keep leaning more and more and more into YouTube, it's very helpful for me and the whole Trekland empire if you indulge your super chat button and can throw a few credits in the pot there as a super chat question. But I'm getting back to where we were. It could be called Short Treks: The Next Generation, right? Oh, Christoph. So they've postponed this year due to the strike, although even with the convention carve-outs for people. Unsuccessful search for a new place. Oh, no. And mostly because a team member fighting some illness. Okay, well, thank you for that. So next year's Sci-Fi Ball has been postponed. Okay. Thanks for that. John, yes, I say covering it, I'm attending. So I can't help but cover it if I'm there. But oh yes, I've been bugging the writers ever since the actors got in formally, if there's going to be a big combined thing. But this came out of WGN. Well, it came out of John and Jonathan Land, Billingsley and Del Arco, with Michelle Hurd in it. They co-signed the letter that went out about 10 days ago, the family letter, and that I think was shared with a lot of fans as well. Yes, and thank you. This was the SAG-AFTRA Foundation that I mentioned. Thanks, Dave. Exactly. And, oh, ding, ding, ding. Why, thank you, Pranakasha, for that super duper chat. Okay. Yes, thank you. Did you have a question, caller? Be something about cellos or something, I'm sure. Let's see what's going on. Oh, May, don't feel guilty. That's a hassle. It's only 2 hours. Did I mention that? The LA one is 10 to noon. Now, they'd cut back the 2 shifts when the heat came on in July here in SoCal. Both unions cut back because at the time of the May strike or the May picket, they were doing 2, 3 or 4 hour shifts, like 9 to 1 and 1 to 4 or 5. But that's all been cut back. They were shutting down by 1 and by noon, variously. And that's why this one is shorter hours, 10 to noon. But that may be all that poor old sidewalk can handle with the mob that's going to be there, it feels like. But don't feel guilty. You can do plenty from home, and you can sit back and enjoy. He was on one of the more in the finalist 10 or 12 names, which went on for ages before they wound up with Stephen Collins. Yes. Ironically, Nathaniel, yes. Matt, get on over to Vasquez Rocks. Come on, folks. Well, if you come with me, we'll go to Vasquez and 3 other places in the day. No, I don't think so. I thought they got on. It's easy enough to see. I thought they had one or two aired before 9/11, but it's easy enough to see because lots of things held up in the aftermath. Exactly. There are no stupid Star Trek questions. Oh, okay. Already bought your Space Command table for the 24 vendors room. All right. Because you're supporting Space Command, right? Oh, Dave. Well, I never know. I had an idea this year who would join us. Dave is talking about our Portal 47 live dive for Vegas, which we have a live dive for any Portal members who are at a convention where I'm a guest and I'm there once a year. And once a year, most people find that they can take advantage of that at Vegas. And so Vegas is always the biggest live dive of the year, with SoonerCon after that back in Oklahoma, and then even San Diego Comic-Con, like number 3, and then after that it's random. It's random. Depends if I'm in Phoenix or Salt Lake, or if I actually get somewhere back east, actually get back to New York or such. But no, Vegas is always the biggest one, and this was the biggest one ever, and this was the most guests to come by. Of course, the art pack we're traveling around in for. You've got and James Adink, who was a set designer there. Liz, Dave, Blast, Todd, and Aaron was on the first shift. So it was a huge. That was the hugest ever, I'll just say. And the pictures are up online too. Yeah. Hey, David, this report, CocoCon is small. It's an old school literary and art focused. Yes, what I used to call a lit con. And I saw your you doing your panel best, and Dr. Kim was in with you too. Yay! Let's see. I'm looking. I only have about 15 minutes here. Cello can never be questioned. Cello is truth. Cello, everybody. Yeah, that's for you old time radio fans. A lot of Orville love today. I gotta jump in and catch the new Futurama season. Mm-hmm. This was Doctor Who history, really? This is one thing I do know by the top of my head. Yes, the JFK situation kind of dampened anybody's desire to watch a new show, especially kids. I don't think David Hasselhoff was ever on a list. Wasn't I think Baywatch was a big thing when Next Gen debuted. So from that time forward, yeah. Not sure somebody could answer this though. Zahir, if you know of anybody at AwesomeCon, please drop my name. I'd love to go by sometime. Well, Christoph, thank you for that. I was trying to remember off the top of my head. I think that was the planned day. I need to go back and check some, see what promo materials were going on. What's the best way to write a believable Star Trek fan? Just write yourself or write one of your friends. I think. No. No, it's Jack Benny, and when Jell-O was his sponsor, and he would say, Jell-O, everybody. Jell-O for hello. So, yeah. That's it. That's it. My gosh, are we out of the chat already here? Oh, Hasselhoff was a fan favorite of the FedCon he attended. The UK-based Trek fans were pretty stunned. Well, yeah, he was that joke about how he was so huge in Germany, and anybody outside Germany would have no clue about that. I know the Americans would have no clue, but the fact that the Brit fans were likewise kind of shocked. Well, every little bit helps here. I'm a cheap date. Oh, well. Summer slump and bank holiday effect. Yeah, well, Labor Day was yesterday. What's going on with everybody? People are gearing back up. Lots to do. Lots to do. Well, that will be something to read, I'm sure, or watch. Matt. Very good. Very good. Well, I guess we are at the end of the chat. Well, so apparently the news about both Star Trek Day and the strike on Friday is leaving everybody pretty nonplussed. All right. You're just saying bring on Lower Decks and let's get on with it. I see. You know, sometimes all these years of me trying to savvy up Star Trek fandom, I didn't mean for it to get boring. I didn't mean to raise a bunch of cynical, all-knowing fans. Yeah. Oh, look at you. Are you carrying around a little vino in that cello today, Matt? Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Hasselhoff once appeared at a concert at the stage split net. He drove out in a kit car. That's interesting. That's funny. Yep. Oh, you're not cynical. You've just been screwed over time and time again. By moi? I hope not. And I hope not by all Star Trek, because you are here. It is in your name. Well, sci-fi's in your name. I guess. Oh, no, it's not the longest yet. I had this on the tip of my tongue. It's, what are we? It's gone longer than the 0708 now. The 0708 was 115 days. There was a 100-day strike. 0708 was like October, November. No, maybe it was 6 months. And this is now, see, and you've got the actors. The writers' side of things will be longer. You've had May, June, July, August. It's entering its 4th month. It's a simple matter of wiki research, though. Hey, Michael, Lower Decks. You saw they've reanimated the Lower Decks chant jump. Yep. There you go. Well, so here's Christoph trying to help us wrap up the chat. So I appreciate that today. There you go. Oh, no. The studios come with Star Trek. I do not trust anyone. I will seriously say, not to split this or dilute the energy here, but a lot of the grievances that the overall Writers Guild has against the producers, the AMPTP, is chiefly one or two of them. It's chiefly Netflix. It's chiefly The Outsiders. Because a lot of what the grievances have been about, I mean, the Paramount showrunners have been able to staff up, of the live action shows, have been able to staff up. And I know Prodigy had a staffed writer's room. So we will see. Even though Prodigy and Lower Decks aren't even party to this, they had their negotiations last year, as Aaron has shared with us. Actually, Aaron hasn't shared. He shared it with me, but he hasn't done it here with everybody else. There we go. Oh, the history of the cancellations got screwed over with Enterprise. Yeah, that was That was a Leslie. That was another inflection point of media, with no one realizing what being the most DVR'd or TiVo'd show back in the day, being the most DVR'd show meant, and that's what Enterprise was. It was far more DVR'd than even Galactica, and still got to 1 million more people a week more than Galactica saw, but no one got that had that perception. All right, gang. Yes, a PSA for Tuesday. You'll not get one, but two Lower Decks 2 days from now. That's why I'm having to record 2 Lower Decks for the return of Second Opinion this weekend. So be on the lookout for that for all things. So anyway, yes, everybody have a great week. It's been a great Tuesday. Thank you all for finding your way back here on, what did you say? Star Trek Day Eve. Yeah, exactly. Once again, I think it's time I thanked our TTLers, though, and our live wires. Hopefully, next week we're going to have a guest. So that's the plan. So check it out. If you want to jump in the Patreon, remember it's patreon.com/Trekland Live. $5 or $10. You can go higher, but $5 to $10 is the only. I'm keeping it simple on purpose. All of that. Remember that it's a great time. The weather's getting cooler. The travel rates are hopefully coming down a little bit. Less traffic in LA from tourists. Perfect for you to come and schedule your own Trekland treks. Get with me and we will work it out. All right. And again, we're on hiatus. The Trek Files is on hiatus. I may even have a hiatus sign up there. But the whole 10 years is there. I enjoy it. 10 seasons is there from 5 years. I enjoy it. I implore you, I invite you to go back and check it out at any of the places where you catch it, but mainly there at our Facebook page and Facebook. And that's the only place you're going to find the documents every week that go with every one of those episodes, 24 times 10, 240 episodes. And yes, it's Larry Nemechek on Twitter and Mastodon and Blue Sky now. I need to go check those out. Still mainly on. See, I haven't X'd out the bird. I just can't. It's my own little protest. But you can protest along with me. Also, if you catch me, subscribe, please, and ring the bell, do the things here at YouTube, Larry's Trekland, where you are right now, or Facebook or Instagram too, especially. And portal47.net. Just jump in the portal and join. We had a big summer this time. We were talking about the live dive at Vegas. Of course, it's a lot more than 1 or 2 events a year. That's the point. It's like a mini con all year long, especially if you want to hear more from those backstage folks that never get the attention the actors do and have just as much or usually much more to do with making the trek that you see. That's been kind of my passion point, although we love those actors. And they're going to take center stage Friday, although there's tons of writers coming as well. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how insane it gets crowded on the Psylocke there along Melrose in the 5500 block. Gang, that's going to do it for today. Hey, remember that... we just had a big Labor Day sale in the T. Lubbock store. So if you'd like to get some Trekwell swag, if you'd like to, whether it's a T-shirt or it's a mug, travel mug anyway, or Cadet Alice or whatever, if you want to show your love for all things Trekland, I appreciate it. And it's there. Twice a month is on sale at TeePublic too. So the Labor Day sale just ended. There'll be another one this month, probably in a couple of weeks. Just letting you know. That's it for us. We'll be back next Tuesday again, hopefully with a guest. I appreciate that. I appreciate the super chats, the super duper chat. What was that called? I can never remember what it's called. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Pranakasha, for doing that twice. And hey, everybody, look, until then, whatever you're doing this weekend, there's still more cons to come. Whether I see you Friday, maybe on the picket there, and whether you're in New York, whether you're watching at home, and then later on enjoying the rest of the Trek Day, you can do that. Neither guild is saying drop your subscription. Some people feel compelled to do that, but they want to have the money stream maintained. So that can't be used as an excuse that they can't be paid. Although what they're asking for is such a fraction. It's such a fraction of the whole thing, which has been shared also. At least the Writers Guild side, their demands total price tag has been compared against the annual. The 3-year package versus the annual is stunning. It's like 0.2% of the revenue they're making. And it's kind of being exposed that way. People outside the industry mainstream news pundits are starting to say, give it up, producer. And the producers are showing their own cracks as well. And apparently there's a large crack between the old brick and mortar studios and all the hotshot Wall Street, Silicon Valley folk. We'll see. We will see. Doesn't sound like it's going to end by Friday. So check out my channels, especially like and subscribe on YouTube. I will go live to YouTube when I do go live. I may do an Instagram too, but I want to be on YouTube live as I did before. We may kick things off with a live and maybe end it with a live too. All right. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. Love our TTL community, especially all you new folk who might have been here. I hope you sounded off. But, till we meet again, wherever it is, there's still folks catching the bug out there that was never went away. And there's talk of one that may be resistant to some of the vaccines under that big COVID umbrella. So come on, everybody, be smart, take care, stay healthy, do all the things. And oh my goodness, stay woke, check your sources, and trek well.